Hello guys, this is Vaish. Today is November 8th, Monday. So yesterday we didn't have an episode because on Sundays there will be no editorial. In those sections there will be classifieds and advertisements and all. So Sunday there will be no editorial in future also. Okay. And today Monday the video is coming a little bit late because starting of the week obviously we'll have a lot of other works also. So I had to uh, focus on that. Okay. So this and I told takes 2 hours, 3 hours to read through the articles and then prepare all these things. Okay. So today's articles, if you see, it's not very important articles, but prelims perspective, there are a lot of points. So here, if you see, this first one is not required. This is a price of the fuel. Okay, the center reduced and then some states reduced. So they're again urging and showing examples like even non-BJP states have followed the center. So other states also should follow. Like I think Kerala or West Bengal, I think they have not reduced anything. So that kind of just a viewpoint that everybody, if they combinedly reduce, then the consumer at the end of the day will get at lower prices. So this is not a point of discussion. Then this is important international relations. Ethiopia, there is a crisis, the Tigray crisis. So that just some prelims point factual things are there which can come in exam and already has come. So I'll discuss this one. And then this is UAPA Act. You know, it's like people are getting arrested under this, and it's like very like called as a draconian law also. So why it is draconian law? What are the problems in that? And some an important Supreme Court judgment has come. So in GS2, GS3, and all, this is a very important article. Okay. Then this one again, international relation. You can tell there's a new grouping or a new alliance has come. A, UK, US is Australia, UK, and US. Okay, they have come together. So it's like the Quad kind of thing, but it is different from Quad. So that discussion. Okay, again GS2, it is important. Then here if you see Manrega payment. Okay, Manrega payment. The payments have been delayed. Already we discussed. I think November 1st we had an article. So I will not discuss what is Manrega and all. I will just tell the payment process. There is a stage 1 and stage 2, and there is a delay in that. So that what is the issue discussion. Okay. So these are the four important articles we have to discuss today, and this one is just a state BJP's West Bengal related some statistics, and here it is the Diwali time. Pollution levels they show. So within the Delhi itself, different sectors they are showing like okay, here this much PM 2.5, this much PM zero point 0.5. So whatever pollution happened, that levels through graphs they have shown. It's not very important. Okay. And this is actually vaccine trust. They're just telling people has to trust the vaccine because there are rumors going on, like even if somebody has some health some death happens, then immediately they tell okay, he took vaccine last month, maybe because of that side effect happened. Like that rumors are being spread. So if people don't trust it, then it will be very difficult to make this corona go away in all, okay, in totality. So you have to trust the vaccine. So nothing much to discuss here, just again a viewpoint of person. Okay, so four important articles we'll discuss. Before that, you have to know that we are trying to do this completely free, else it will have to be converted to a paid class if you don't come and like or comment. Even now when you just start the video, please hit that like button. Okay, because this headlines which I tell you itself gives you the gist of today's paper. Okay, so please hit the like button first itself. Okay, so that I know that okay, you have started watching it. Okay, and then if there is a chat open for you, because sometimes I open the live chat also, that time in there also please interact. Okay, because this is done with a lot of effort for you. And comment, you have to give a one line comment. It can be just a thank you or a thumbs up, or like okay, I learned this from this video, or maybe I'll ask a question in every video, tell in comment section, so that time answer to that. Do something. Okay, do like and comment mandatorily on every video, meaning if I get 500 views on this video, I am expecting at least the best 300 400 people to like and comment also. Okay, but what we see is just 20 likes or some 6 comments will be there. So for that such a small serious audience, we cannot continue this for free. Okay, so please see to it that many more audience are participating. Okay, and then the Vaish courses channel, okay, the subscriber is very low. Please go and subscribe this channel also, because the prelims perspective factual things are discussed here in small 8-minute 10-minute video. Okay, like if you see first India's non-GM herbicide tolerant rice variety, that video is there. Then 32 nations is removing China from a preferential tariff treatment process, that is there. Here Taliban has banned the foreign currency. Here what is a Benami transaction, road accident statistics, the heart attack statistics of youngsters, the movies getting like Oscar rejections. Then here if you see foundation day of many states, Panchamrit in the COP26 summit, then G7 nations record this thing. Okay, India is beating all the nations in export. So this kind of everything is needed for your UPSC. So if you don't watch this and at the end of the day you tell like okay, I sat and watched every editorial, still I'm not able to solve questions, then it is your fault. Okay, because we are telling you from day one, please do this, means it is important for you. So please follow this, go and subscribe now itself. So three things now: like, comment, and subscribe to this second channel now. Okay, even Vaishayas, if you have not yet subscribed, then continue listening to this video from this point. Okay, so these are the different playlists. You can go through it in English and Hindi. Almost every textbook is being tried to covered completely free, but as and when you don't respond, we will stop each of those playlists. Okay, so these are the different things going on. and the frequent questions which students ask. Please watch this. Read this, because without reading this, if you ask a question, it's little annoying to us also, because we have already answered to you here itself. Okay, and to contact me 24/7, you can WhatsApp me or email me here. Okay, so now we'll start with the first article, that is this Tigray crisis. So Tigray crisis, if you see, it's a location in Ethiopia. So African map, you will know, obviously in the west side of India we have African continent. So here Somalia is the, like, you can tell, nearest to India, because it's like a horn. It is like this. It's even called the Horn of Africa. It will be like this. Okay, India will be to the right side of this. So here we have these countries. If you see Eritrea, this is Red Sea. Okay, here Yemen is there. So here Eritrea, Djibouti, and Somalia, these are all touching this Red Sea, and here this very important pirates and all used to be there a long time ago. A lot of pirates and ships were being targeted. So that is why this area is important. If you know the name of this place, okay, this strait which is there, the very famous strait. If you know, tell in comment section. Okay, what is this strait called? So here Eritrea is also called seed countries. If you know, SEED. Okay, this is Somalia, Djibouti, Eritrea, and the Sudan is there. Okay, so Ethiopia also. Okay, seed. So here if you see, Tigray region is the northmost region here, which is in the boundary with Eritrea. Okay, so it's for your mapping session and prelim session is very important. Capital is Addis Ababa. Now all these things in the news article you will see. That's why I'm showing you upfront itself, so you have an idea. Okay, so here again Tigray region, here Asmara in Eritrea, and here Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Okay, the capitals, and here the Red Sea, and here straight. Tell me in comment section. So seeing this map, we'll continue in the article. So the Prime Minister, this person, Abiy Ahmed, he is the Prime Minister there. So there is a year-long war going on, civil war, you know, in South Sudan, Yemen, in Syria, in Palestine, everywhere this kind of things happen in name of either religion or caste or ethnicity. So here it is basically ethnicity. Okay, the people there, the different tribes or the different race, you can tell, which they belong to, they are having war there. Okay, so the regions, the rebels are mainly in that North Tigray region, which is in border with Eritrea. So the Prime Minister versus those people, this is going on. Earlier he had got Nobel Peace Prize and all for dealing this issue and all, because he told like, okay, I will throw away all these people away from that area, and then we'll bring peace. Okay, install a friendly government. This is what he thought, and he was successful also. Okay, the operations were over, the compact operations over, he was successful. But he did not know that these people are much stronger and they will go and come back. They'll regroup and come back again. Okay, so controlling this was harder. Okay, ousting the rebel, meaning just simply making them run away one time, that was very easy. But then taking control of that rebellious region, the Tigray region, that was very complex. Okay, because they have a complex history. Okay, as I told, it's a mountainous region, one thing, and it shares a long border with Eritrea. Okay, which is the base of this resistance against the, if you know, in the 70s, 80s, right, 70s, 80s, it was like a dictator government there. Okay, before this person and all, there was a dictatorship government, and then these people, they fought. Okay, if you know, the military regime that time was called this one, Derg. So this also, if UPSC asks, is related to Ethiopia. Okay, the military regime which was there, Derg, this was fought by this Tigray people. Okay, this TPLF, which they call Tigray People's Liberation Front. That is an ethnic paramilitary group. They fought with this military regime for 16 years, and they took over the Ethiopia. Okay, they go to mountains, they regroup, and they come back, and they, like that, they won the war. Okay, and they included even the paramilitaries from Eritrea also. So the military regime was gone, and they took up this thing. This is in the 70s and 80s. Okay, so now what happened is, now recently they are again come back, and they are now threatening to take back Addis Ababa, the capital city also. Like, you know, Taliban took over the Afghanistan, Kabul and all. Same like that, like this groups have come forward and is taking it. Now here if you see, the country in the after 70s, 80s, what happened is, the country moved to parliamentary system from the military dictatorship in the early 1990s. Okay, so the military changed, and now the parliamentary system came there, and they were even like, they called something called ethnic federalism. Okay, this also UPSC asked, it was in context of which countries? It is Ethiopia. Okay, so ethnic federalism, where if you see the federal government, the government which they are telling, ethnic federalism, it is controlled by the TPLF. Okay, they will control the federal central government and focused on national unity, economic growth and defense. Okay, meaning the government is by them only, and there will be some autonomy to the region also. Okay, the regional ethnic people will have regional autonomy also. That is why ethnic federalism. Okay, now this worked for at least a decade. Okay, And one thing of factual thing, Ethiopia is the second most populous country, okay, in Africa. Even now, if you want, you can go and search which is the first most populous country. That also in comment section you can tell. Okay, one is the straight question which I asked, and one is this population wise, which is the most populous country. Okay, so this happened even there was a famine in 1983 and all, but they emerged after that. They emerged as the economic powerhouse of East Africa. Okay, in the 90s, late 90s, they became a economic powerhouse also. Now this Mr. Abiy, this prime minister there now, okay, he is an ethnic Oromo. This Oromo is actually, I think, once UPSC asked, it's a ethnic race, so they'll give match the following, okay, like Oromos, then right side they will give something like Yemen, then it will be wrong. Okay, Oromos is for Ethiopia. Okay, so like that you should know the race also. Now again, as I told, the this person, he was trying to throw out all those people, right? So that move to sideline the TPLF, that is what triggered the bigger political crisis. Okay, and now there is a war in Tigray. Whatever he tried to do, that sidelined them. They went to the mountains, they regrouped and came back. Now they are telling like they'll take the capital also. And now he is on a defensive approach. Okay, and his method of controlling the Tigray has failed. But he still, like, if he don't do any operation, everyone will think it is like his weakness. Okay, so again, the war is not over. So okay, it's still going on. So this just background is what I wanted you to learn, and what is the different terminologies. This TPLF, Tigray, Oromo. Okay, that Derg which I showed you in the first slide. Like this thing is more important for your prelims. Okay, so one thing is, if a war happens, it will be disastrous, and both of them have to agree on a ceasefire, but neither side have shown any interest in talk, meaning nothing is happening. Okay, so now they are telling like the bigger groups like African Union and all should press both the rulers and the rebels to immediately end the fight and start talking. So this is the status now. So in the coming days, it will be more easily understandable for you when next article comes. Okay, that is why the foundation I have set it for you. Okay, so you know now everything, the map, the Tigray, the Ethiopia, the 70s what happened, 90s what happened, now what is happening, just you know. Okay, this is the first article. Now second article is little technical, little detailed, UAPA. Okay, you would have heard all this already, because in the news it is repeatedly there. Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, UAPA. Many people are getting arrested. So Supreme Court, a very good judgment has come. Okay, so 28 October 2021, a person who was like denied bail in the High Court now has got the bail. Okay, so full story we'll see. So here if you see, this has like an immense potential to reclaim the idea of personal liberty and human dignity. Okay, the judgment is giving a positive light towards the human dignity and their rights. So the case, if you see, this is this Thwawaha, okay, whatever it pronounced, a Fazal, okay, person versus Union of India. The court has acted in its introspective jurisdiction and deconstructed the provisions of the UAPA. So that what are the provisions exactly, everything I will tell you. Okay, so a sense of legal realism, meaning in the real world it should be there, and this blatant misuse of the draconian law, that is UAPA, should not be there. Okay, so this is exactly the question can come. Okay, UAPA, draconian law, elucidate with examples, you have to tell it. Okay, so this judgment, this article is a perfect answer for that. So here if you see in the background, what is the case? In Kerala, 3 people were accused of terrorism related activities. Okay, one of them was running away, only 2 were caught, and he's not yet caught, I think, but the 2 people. Okay, so the case was registered and handed over to the NIA, National Investigation Agency, and they were arrested when November 1, 2019, meaning it is almost now 2 years. Okay, so the materials, okay, when the search and everything happened in their place, the place where they lived, radical literature were found, like too much maybe Islamic kind of content which they have, or maybe they have tie up with something. It's not tie up or nothing is proved, but the ideology, okay, just the ideology. That is why Supreme Court has done a good decision, like this, simply just because they are reading books, you cannot arrest someone. Okay, so radical literature, then books on caste issues in India, then this communism, socialism, this notes of Lenin and all, this is found. Then Maoist organization related, some leaflet and some booklets were found. So nobody knows like what are their intentions, but these are the things which are found, and based on this they were kept in the jail. Okay, this is the background. Okay, 2 people were arrested and 1 now ran away. Now the provisions we will see under which they have been arrested. Okay, the provisions of UAPA were invoked. The first person name is this one. Okay, Alan Shuaib. Okay, and another person I'll show you, some this person, this Fasal. Okay, so these 2 are the people which is there. Now if you see section 38 and 39 of UAPA and 120B of the Indian Penal Code, this is what is put against the first person. So what is this 38 and 39? Section 38 means offense relating to membership of a terrorist organization. Then here 39 means offense related to support given to a terrorist organization. Okay, one is membership, one is support. Then section 120B of the IPC. Okay, the other 2 are UAPA law and this is IPC. So here penal provision on criminal conspiracy. So these are the 3 things which is put against him. Then on the second person, it is section 13 of the UAPA. Okay, so here it is telling like provisions about punishment for unlawful activity, a general provision. Okay, now both the accused were students and there were no allegations of any overt act of violence. Okay, there's no violence or anything, but these books they had and their ideology, their thinking process, their connections to some bodies, this is what is the charges. Okay, now the case, what happened? Okay, initially we'll see the different courts, the trial court, the high court, the Supreme Court. Okay, three levels they have shown here. So the first one granted bail to both of them in September 2020, but September 2020 means already 10 months they were in jail. Okay, 10 months they were in jail, and after that they were given. After that then it went to high court, I think. Okay, the people went to high court. So now if you see, the high court means the NIA would have gone to high court. So there now the bail of Ellen was confirmed. Okay, the first person was confirmed, but the other one was kept aside. Okay, this Fasal. Okay, that is why now it went to Supreme Court. Okay, his bail was not granted. Now when it reached the Supreme Court, Supreme Court told these kind of lines. Okay, the materials, finding that materials, the books and all, prima facie do not show any intention on the part of both the accused to further the activities of the terrorist organization. Okay, this is the word they're telling. Okay, like if you know a person a terrorist, it is not a crime, but if you are doing something to further the activities of that organization, you are contributing something to that organization. Just because you clicked a photo with someone and then later that person becomes a terrorist, that is not your concern. That is not like you have to, or you kept some books with you, you kept some literature with you, that doesn't matter. That is what Supreme Court has told. Okay, and it also found fault with the High Court, because High Court, as I told, they put charges against this Fasal person and told like his bail is not being granted. Okay, bail was set aside. Okay, now the top court, the Supreme Court, confirmed the bail granted to both the students. This is what has happened. Both of them has now got bail. Okay, that means High Court thing was corrected. Okay, and both of them have been set free. Now more details are there. So emphatic and liberal. Okay, they have like taken like very categorically, they have taken the case and they have told mere association with a terrorist organization is not sufficient. Okay, so too much liberal, meaning you are having an association, you have a connection, that is okay, they are telling, but they should not contribute anything extra to that organization. Okay, so with the intention of furthering the activities. Okay, until that is proved, offense under this thing should not be made. 38 and 39 which I told you, that should not be there. Okay, and here again they are telling mere possession of books, documents or books by the accused at a formative young age, or even their fascination for an ideology, okay, like Lenin, communism, socialism, whatever you have, that doesn't mean, okay, that does not directly result or by law. Okay, this ipso facto and ipso jure, this is what is given in the paper. The remaining definition I have put it for your understanding. Okay, by this you cannot make it as an offense, okay, by law, or like a direct result or direct consequence to the terrorism angle. Okay, so they are telling hypocrisy of the law, UAPA, and this can be like a warning also against this law. Okay, if you see admonition, okay, this term is like warning against the suppressive regime. You are actually, judgment is going against the government, right? Because they are the ones who is using the UAPA law. Now again, one more thing they are telling here, 43D5. Okay, here they are telling that UAPA, okay, that law has a clause that bail should not be granted. Okay, if in prima facie, in that first look, even without proper investigation or first look, you have some like this, like you got the literature, you got something, then bail should not be given. So such is like actually against the fundamental right of people, right? You cannot simply just by prima facie you see something and you cannot simply put them for jail and not even give them bail. So they're comparing the criminal procedure code which we have, CRPC 1973 onwards we have. So this one with the UAPA they're comparing. Unlike the CRPC, the UAPA by virtue of the provision to section 43D2 permits keeping a person in prison for about 180 days without even filing a charge sheet. So UAPA allows you to keep a person for 6 months without even having a charge sheet. Okay, but CRPC it's not like this. CRPC it will be different thing. So that way they are comparing how much like a draconian law this is. Okay, now so this will what happen? This will prolong the trial of the people. This will make them put in jail. There is no investigation. There is no next level thing happening. People are simply put in prison for months. Okay, so that is the problem here. And another thing is this guilt, presumption of guilt. You know, in India we have, in law it is believed that unless you are proven guilty, you are considered to be innocent. Okay, no matter what is your crime, you are innocent until proven guilty. But in UAPA it is kind of the reverse. Okay, instead of presumption of innocence, the UAPA holds presumption of guilt of the accused, meaning first itself you are considered guilty. Okay, and it's like the burden of that person that you have to prove that no, I am innocent. Okay, so that is why UAPA is little draconian. Okay, so again that section, more sections they are telling, 43 of that. Why I am highlighting this means in case a UAPA direct detailed question come, okay, direct question come, these all clauses if you mention, then you are going to get full marks for it. Okay, because nobody will by heart all these figures and this thing. But from my editorial series, again when you see this every day, then it will be very simple for you. Okay, not everything, just that 38, 39 and this 43E and 43D5. Okay, this 4 thing, one line if you learn what it is. Okay, again if you see, this is like presumption as to the offenses. Okay, meaning first itself considering you as guilty. Okay, and here if you see, jail is the rule and bail is not even often not even an exception, meaning even in any case bail is not given. Okay, jail is the ultimate thing for you. Okay, so that person, Fasal, okay, in his case everything was narrowed down, it's all seen in a very restrictive sense. The text is just like that believed, and then the text means the law, law is believed just like that, and is put in jail. Okay, so it has to be some extent liberalized. This is what the Supreme Court has done. Now in this process, the Supreme Court also mentioned some older cases also. There is a case called National Investigation Agency versus Zahoor Ahmad Shah Watali. Okay, another case this is. In that also, this person under this section 43D5, the burden is on the accused to show that the prosecution case is not prima facie true. Okay, so it was on his head that he has to prove he's innocent. The NIA, whatever put on his head, it was on his head and he was in jail. Okay, so bail court should not even investigate deeply. Okay, in that case, this is what happened. They are not investigating deeply into materials, and bail plea was not considered, and he was in jail. So this prohibits a thorough and deeper examination. Okay, and after that also, in several other cases, bails were rejected, simply pointing out to this case. Okay, already this case itself is doubtful, like whether he was actually involved or not. So this is given, and after that, many other bails in many other cases are rejected, simply pointing like, okay, this is this. Okay, without checking whether this was false or fabricated case. Okay, and they are telling examples, some Sudha Bharadwaj, some Siddiq Kapan, then this Stan Swami. These were all victims who were because of this reference to this case. Okay, it's a totally different case, but telling in the same context. Now this top court, okay, has changed the entire thing. Okay, and here also another case they have referred, a positive one in this aspect, Union of India versus K.A. Najib 2021. Okay, in which also again this stringent provisions were there. So they told using this, okay, should not curtail the constitutional this thing, like your fundamental rights. If it's violated, then that is above. Okay, the constitution fundamental right is above your section 43D law. You cannot put stringent provisions under that and deny people of the rights. Okay, that is what is told. So now this draconian law sometimes poses immense challenge to the courts by limiting the space for judicial discretion. Okay, like I told, many other cases and all simply will refer to an existing case where somebody was put in jail and tell like, okay, you are also going to jail. Okay, so that should not happen. So you are telling two mutually contradictory methods which can be used. One is the like strictly following, okay, provision, what is written, this thing, okay, 43D tells like no investigation, prima facie, go and put him in jail. Another contrasting approach is little more human angle. Okay, you interpret the constitution also. Simply don't tell, okay, law is that. Okay, law will be there, but constitution can counter it. Okay, if it is not in human angle aspect. Okay, so that power constitution has, the court has. Okay, the constitution should read it in a more constitutional reading, the law. Okay, so this is the two types of contrast reading they are telling. So they are telling that also the former approach. Okay, former approach is reflected in this person's case. That is, strict reading of the law was done and he was put in jail in his case. Okay, but in the latter, this person Fasal, now it is read in a more human angle way, and finally now he has got the bail. Okay, the primacy of judicial process over the text. Okay, this is the judicial process is above the text of the enactment, the UAP Act. This is what is trying to be told. And again, some Delhi cases time also they told 3 people were given bail. This Natasha, Devangana and Asif Iqbal. This person were given, they were charged on UAPA, but they were given bail on without any proof, and because of human angle they were given. So now they are telling this judgment has legitimized this thing. Whatever happened in Delhi High Court was now Supreme Court has supported it. Okay, through this judgment, it is clear that you have to have a human angle reading to it. Okay, instead of swallowing the prosecution story, whatever they tell, like, okay, we found that book, we found this thing, he's a Maoist, he is this thing. You should not tell that. You should have a proper human angle to it and proper investigation to it. Okay, so this kind of statements and all you can use in your exam. It is the judicial radicalism that builds an emancipatory legal tool. Okay, a free from control kind of tool will be built only if judicial radicalism is there. So judgment should be invoked, and they're telling any other people, any other political prisoners are already there in jail because of any such thing, they should all be given bail. Okay, that is what is told at the end of this article. Hope it's clear. I have tried to highlight whatever is important so that you understand. Else, when you read it yourself, it looks very complicated. Okay, because Hindu paper will not put in bullet points like this. They will just put paragraph after paragraph, and it will be very difficult to understand. So I have tried to break it down to you. Hope it is clear. Now Manrega, we already discussed the payment. So here the author is using a parable. Okay, this one, the parable means this story kind of thing to explain a point. So there's a 13th century mystic Mullah Nasruddin. So this story in picture format, I put it already. In every context it is there. In English they'll have cartoon like this. In Islamic context they have that Nasruddin story. Or in Hinduism there is a sage Muni will be doing this. So the story is same. Like one person is searching for something. Okay, here he's searching and he's like my quarter or my coin or my safety pin, whatever. I have lost it and he's searching. So he's told like, oh, did you lose it here? Then he tell, no, I lost it there, 2 streets away or like half a kilometer away. Then this person will get angry and telling, then why are you looking here? You should have going looking there. So he's telling like, because here only street light is there, here light is better, so I am searching here. So this kind of illogical thing. So when you're asking something, you're replying something else. So to illustrate that, just the author put a story. Okay, you also in your essays and all these things, you can use this kind of story if there is a context involved. Simply don't go and write this kind of story. Okay, only if that supports your context. Here they're telling about Manrega payment because when the payment is demanded, center is telling something else in reply. Okay, so that to illustrate, he told a story. Okay, this is just an idea of how to build up long answers. Okay, now delay in payment. Okay, so they're telling Manrega scheme I'm not explaining, already done in the previous episode. So here 8 crore wage transactions were pending as of Diwali. Okay, so some people's group, Action on Employment Guarantee Group, they are tracking it and they are trying to find out how many payment pending, why is it pending, is it from states and is it from centers, and they are doing all the investigation. Okay, so they are telling the centers fund has been exhausted, whatever is given to the states is exhausted. Okay, and also when asked about it, rural ministry, instead of telling the actual pending areas of last previous years, they are telling like, okay, this year we have this much fund and we'll be doing the wage liability, we'll be doing it. So that's what we are asking, something for the pending thing, and the reply is coming like, okay, for the future we have this much money left. So it is like, that is why this parable is used. Okay, so I'll tell you how the wage process is actually. Okay, the delay where it is happening. So there is 2 stages in the wage process. Okay, first stage is that when the work happens. Okay, suppose you know what is Manrega, people will work in the rural areas like digging or irrigation or something. Okay, they'll be doing some work. So first thing is states must electronically send invoices, also called FTOs, to the central government within 8 days of completion of work. Okay, meaning one, like suppose November 1 you did a work, by November 9th at least, the state must send the invoices. Okay, and that invoice will contain the name of the person who did the work, his bank account number, his Aadhaar card number, everything will be there. Okay, this will go to the center. Now center has to process the invoices and transfer wage directly to the worker's account. Okay, this after this government came only this direct accounting and all came. So it is now, it has to go. So this is called the stage 2. Okay, center, it has to do it in 7 days, the payment has to be done. So total 8 days here and 7 days in the center's hand. So 15 days the person should have got the payment after he do the work. Okay, within 15 days maximum. Okay, and there are, but it is not happening. So there has been Supreme Court orders in 2018 like you should speed up the process. So what happened is now stage 1 delays have almost reduced. Okay, states are sending the invoices, but stage 2 delay continues. The centers giving payment has reduced. Okay, also there is a rule like in case in 15 days it doesn't go, then for each extra day there should be a delay compensation. Okay, something has to be given. I don't know how much, but they have to give. The center or someone will calculate and you have to give that extra 100 rupee per day, 500 rupee per day. You have to give that extra delay compensation for each day of delay. Okay, but what is noticed is that delay compensation, there is not even there a procedure, there is no calculation done, that is not even happening. Okay, delay is surely happening, but after that the compensation is not happening. That is what is they are telling, whoever is investigating this, they are telling this. Okay, so the payment delays are an artifact of technological hurdles. Okay, so this is what maybe central government will reply. Okay, there are technical issues, there are, so like we are not getting the details properly, like the technical issues coming. So that is why that's parable. Okay, you are asking something, you are telling something and just making them shut up. Okay, so here if you see March 2, the central government issued something called a circular to segregate invoices based on the caste of workers, meaning the invoices which used to go from state to center, now center told categorize it caste wise also, like how many scheduled caste, how many scheduled tribe, how many this one, that also is. So this also is causing the delay, is one point is being noticed. Okay, so now it has to be sent caste wise. So the people who are sending the invoices from state, they have extra burden. Okay, so a report also they published, this LibTech India, they published a report called heavy weight. Okay, heavy weight means only too much waiting time. So here if you see stage 2 was completed only for 29% of invoices within the mandated 7-day period. Okay, this is what they found out, and then they are giving different examples. Jharkhand what happened, West Bengal what happened. So everywhere they are finding delay. Okay, mostly in stage 2 they are finding a delay, and here after the caste based segregation also they are telling what happens is they are giving payment mostly mostly to the SC/ST people first. Okay, 46%, 37% and all. But the non-SC/ST, only 26% people have got it. Okay, so caste-wise segregation has made it even more delay, they are telling, even more negative, even more worse, and people are not getting the money. Okay, here if you see, half of the SC/ST workers got it, and here much worse for non-SC/ST workers. In Madhya Pradesh, only 7% people got it. So these are all examples and statistics. If you want, you can note it down. And like that, delay is happening. Okay. And also it has created tension at the work site. Okay, like some people will think, okay, you have got the money because of your caste, I have not got because of my caste. And also the computer operators, they have to now segregate now this caste wise, they also have the burden now. So all this is causing tension at the work site also, meaning the state level or the local level. That thing is also happening. Okay, and for better accounting purpose, this has to be done. That is what centers reply. You have to know category, how much is there, SC/ST people, how much income they are earning. So for that tracking, we had introduced this. Okay, and so they thought like, okay, this is the thing. But what happened is, because of this delays and problems, after media report and all, central government finally revoked it. In a welcome move, has revoked the caste-based segregation of wage payment. Okay, but still now they have not done anything for compensation calculation or for giving the pending this thing. Okay, this is what they are telling. So here we see one more thing at the closing note. They are telling the Aadhaar payment bridge system, that is, you are paying based on the Aadhaar mapping, right? The Aadhaar is linked to the bank account and all. So this one, what happens in local level and all, even typing mistake happens, and then some, or maybe interchange happens, like somebody's Aadhaar is mapped to somebody's bank, something like that happen, and then the payment fails. Okay, so this erroneous Aadhaar mapping with the payment software, this is one technical reason which center is telling, like, you have done a lot of things like this, so we are not able to do correct payment. Okay, so the reporter or whoever is telling, like, that will be their technical thing, but you have to first see that you have to allocate the fund also. Okay, here they are telling technical fixes cannot be substitutes for political will. Okay, so work demand is there like last year only. So if you need people to continuously work, you have to allocate 50,000 crore at least urgently. Okay, technical things will be there, that has to be solved, and center is telling that technical things are there, that also you have to fix, but fund also has to be allocated. Okay, you cannot keep telling that there are technical issue. At least you should try to pay whatever is correct. Okay, so that is what is telling, and also calculate the delay in compensation. Now the last article for today, the AU UK US. Okay, that is this Australia, UK, US. If you see the map here, and if you see France and European Union are looking not very happy. Here Japan is looking little happy. Here if you see China is not at all happy. So this and all, what is the thing, we'll see. Okay, so the trilateral security agreement between Australia, UK, USA. Okay, so this, what is it? It's not very clear. Okay, but the USA president, the Joe Biden, is pushing to it. Okay, nowadays. So in even the COP26 meeting and all, this was mentioned, and it is like not very happily accepted by the French counterpart or the China or other people are not very happy about this. Okay, it's like they are calling security agreement, but don't know whether it is like a defense thing or a cyber warfare. What are they up to? They don't know, but they are three coming together. The Australia, UK, USA is coming together. Okay. And also in the Asian side also, Asian countries, you should know, 10 countries, they are also having like a disunity. Like some of them are okay with that, some of them are not okay with that. China is especially not okay with that. So like that, many things are there. Okay, China is not part of this Asian, but still. So because China is the biggest power there in that side, and they are trying to control all those Asian countries, they are definitely not happy. Okay, so now if you see, this is clearly an attempt by the US to bolster regional security, including secure Australia's seaborne trade. Okay, so Australia, USA wanted to come together. They are now just taking UK along with them. Okay, so why and what and all will come in the next slide. Okay, so Australia is, this ASEAN is like getting updated to RCEP and all. So there, China's pressure is there. China's like maybe like what to say, considering all others as below them, or Australia's freedom and all maybe getting disrupted. That is why even India did not join when RCEP. India was the 16th country to be joined. India did not go. Okay, you should know ASEAN is 10 countries, and RCEP with that plus 6 was invited, and then RCEP was formed. Okay, or RCEP was the plan. But now what happened is, out of that 16, it is now only 5. Okay, because India, who was the 6th one, India told we don't want, because the China's pressure and all those things. Okay, lot of clauses India did not like, but Australia is there in this 5. Australia, New Zealand is there, China is there, Japan is there. So because of that problems, Australia also is not very happy. So now here they are telling, Australia is telling, even though we join this AUK, US and all, we are not going to undermine ASEAN, or we are not telling like, okay, ASEAN we don't commit to, or we are already like in South Pacific Nuclear Zone Treaty and this Treaty of South Asian, everything we are there, we are committed everywhere, but we will be going into this AUK, US also. That is what they are telling. Okay, so what is this? If you see, Australia has denied that this is a defense alliance. Okay, it is not a defense alliance. Okay, and China, this is a phrase. Okay, Hobson's choice means you sometimes see like people will give you only one choice. and they will tell, okay, pick one. Okay, actually both the one will be same only, like option 1, option 2, you like no last choice, and you will take one choice, okay, because only one choice is available. Okay, sometimes some situation comes like that. They will tell pick one, but ideally there is only one. The out of the two, both look similar only. So just one choice is there for China to oppose it. Okay, you should know US China, the rivalry is going on since long time. Okay, so this person, Chinese foreign minister, he criticized this AUKUS as an exclusive bloc, and that gravely undermines regional peace and security and reflects a Cold War mentality. Okay, like Cold War was there once upon a time, USA on one side, Russia on one side. So like that, this also is now provoking a Cold War kind of thing. Okay, these three are coming together, and then remaining China and others will be on the other side. So this is not a good thing. Okay, so this actually, here if you see a definition, if you see shared commitment of three members to deepening diplomatic, security and defense cooperation in the Indo-Pacific to meet the challenges of the 21st century. Okay, but you will think like in Indo-Pacific already we have the Quad thing. Okay, where UK is not there. There Australia, USA, India and Japan is there. So that is another thing. But there is a slight difference that we'll see in the last slide. Okay, so now here before that, author is telling about the decades-old partnership. Okay, the UK, US, and Australia, they coming together is not a new thing. They have already come together for various things, including the Second World War. Second World War, they were all in one side only, USA, UK, Australia. Even in First World War, USA, UK was in one side only. So they are now not something which is like the first time meeting or first time having any agreement. Okay, also USA has shared their nuclear weapons technology and all to UK. Okay, and UK, where did they test all their things? They tested on an island which is in Australia. Okay, so US, UK, Australia has been into defense pact and defense agreement and defense exercises in for many years. So they have been alliance partners all along. Okay, something new has not happened. Only thing is they may together counter China now. That is the only new thing happening here. Okay, so if you see here, all the three, their relation with China is how? It's always with arguments or quarrels or any problems. Okay, so this term, if you see, okay, if you want, I'm just giving you bracket meanings. Okay, this is not that the Hindu, I'm giving you extra so that you know new words for your CSAT or for your paper B of English in the mains, you can use it. Okay, so China's this annoying kind of nature. Okay, here one more term. China's annoying kind of nature is there, which is forcing countries like Australia and all to go for some other grouping. Okay, so Australia, whenever China tries to do something to others, it will obviously backfire. So China opposing Australia or suppressing Australia, it has clearly backfired. Okay, and China's expansion also, the naval expansion which is does in the South China Sea and the Pacific region, has compelled Australia to revisit its defense and security policy. Okay, so here again some examples are given, some where Australia faced some issue. It's not very important, and there are other exercises also. If you see 2017-19, this Talisman Sabre exercise. Okay, this if you see in news next time or in question paper, you should know it's a biennial exercise that is led by either Australia or the US. Okay, and this details will be there in my prelims test series, so please enroll to that also. So this is conducted by the Australian Navy. Okay, now if you see in that, when one ship or something they had used, okay, they had used this some class, this thing, China similar kind of another thing used it in the next RIMPAC exercise. Okay, where again many countries will be coming together. Okay, multilateral rim of the Pacific, RIMPAC. In that exercise, China used the same type of vessel. Okay, so this kind of thing will create panic in Australia, right? Like whatever we have, China is also having the same kind of vessels. So now they need allies. They need people like powerful allies like USA, UK and all. So this is, they're just telling examples of what is happening in the international politics. And so US and UK, if you know, they have huge submarine technology. Okay, China has a lot of submarines, lot of fleet, lot of underwater capabilities and all. So to counter them, Australia needs good allies like USA and UK. Okay, the USA, if you see, they have already mutual defense agreement of 1958 is there. So submarine technology is already given from USA to UK. Now Australia also will join them. So the trilateral defense, okay, it will become stronger. The older decade-long thing will now again increase the capabilities and interoperability. Okay, and it is told that it may further, okay, the defense, it's not just defense, it can be like cyber capability, artificial intelligence, quantum technology, apart from undersea capabilities. All these things can be part of this agreement. So it's a new thing. We have to wait and see how these three countries take it forward. Okay, so they can, another thing is they can also involve the regional countries. Okay, their Asian countries are there, islands are there, Philippines is there. Maybe they can take them all along. Already New Zealand is you know, New Zealand always, wherever Australia is there, New Zealand will be there. Okay, except for I think in G20 or something, everywhere New Zealand is there. So New Zealand is open to cooperation with this thing. Okay, in areas of cyber and other nuclear related thing. So that is also we have to wait and see. And if you see, USA backed lot of programs are there already to counter this China's Belt and Road Initiative. Okay, Build Back Better World, Blue Dot Network, Clean Network. These are all there in our prelims test series. You can study. So these things are there already. So now Australia, New Zealand, then this UK, all these will come together, and so it will be a big blow to China. Okay, this is the today's editorial. So next time when I tell AU, KA, US, these all things I explained should be already there in your brain. I'm not going to start it again. This is the intention of editorial. Okay, making you know the foundation. Okay, like this one full year if you do right, you are easily going to clear UPSC. Okay, you just have to know the foundation. Many students don't know this. Coaching institute just give you some here and there bullet points. They don't teach you the foundation. Okay, so here last slide, comparison. They're just comparing the Quad. So Quad, if you know, the difference mainly is Quad is Indo-Pacific. Okay, India is also there, but this is more Pacific centric. Okay, where the righter side of the world map you see. So it is little Pacific centric. Okay, and also this could strengthen Japan, Taiwan also. Okay, you should know, because we are more focusing on Pacific. Japan, Taiwan also you can increase. Okay, and also you could reassure Asian nations, because China is trying to build artificial islands there. They have that 9-dashed line there. They have tried to capture most of the area there, and fight is always happening. Okay, it has even gone to WTO, World Bank, International Court of Justice, everywhere it has gone, but still always China will never listen to them, and problems are there. So now when this three big powers come there, it can reassure Asian nations, and it will be like what to say, last resort to them. If any help is needed, they can go to them also, because these people also will place their submarines, their ships, their military, their logistics, everything will be there. Okay, so that is what is going to happen in the future years. The full war is going to happen in the Pacific side. Okay, not in Israel, Palestine and all. Everything is going to happen here on the waters. So again, China's military capacity must be taken seriously, because they have large number of submarines, as I told, lot of nuclear powered also, diesel electric also. They have a lot of submarines and tools. So this has to be there. Now, if you see Quad structure, they don't have that much capability. Okay, India and all don't have that much missiles and weapons and all. But USA, UK, if they come together, who have participated in 2 world wars and all, they have much more military capacity. So that is the big difference between Quad and this AU, KU, US. Okay, the Quad cannot compete with China. China as of now, but AUK, US can do it. That is the gist of this. So please, I hope you have liked and commented already, and subscription also in both the channels. Only then I'll be able to continue. And please WhatsApp me if you are new to this channel, because earlier you connect, earlier I guarantee you that your foundation will be set faster and stronger. Okay, so thank you and have a nice day.